Introducing Officer Madden. I don't believe I've ever had any prior interaction with him. He answered my questions professionally, seemingly earnestly, and cordially.
See what's going on. Zoom in on this guy. He looks happy. He's probably saying some asshole out here with a camera zooming in on me.
There's that dickhead with the camera.
How's it going?
All right. How you doing?
You guys still busy?
I'm getting ready to finish it up, I think.
All right. Are you busy?
I'm busy writing a report, bud. Got that thing.
Okay, well, I want to ask you a question when you're done. You can decide if you run or not. That's up to you.
Wah, he's stopping for narration, wah. Anyway, as I went by the first time, this officer had his vehicle parked against traffic in the roadway. So to fuck with him, I yelled out my window, "Move your piece of shit vehicle." Now the rest should make sense. Wah, he narrated.
Hold on. Shut up! Go find a nipple!
That's the guy that I yelled at about moving his piece of shit car from the road just to mess with him. Surprised he didn't say something. 44 News is here, reporting what they want to report and ignoring the rest if it doesn't fit the narrative of any mainstream news agency.
And he still won't stop!
Here's something to note. I don't believe I've ever interacted with this officer. Here's what I did notice. He didn't run away like a coward.
You got a minute, officer?
No, sir.
No, sir, you don't have a minute?
No, sir.
Can I get your name and badge number?
Williams, 46.
I didn't have to chase him down.
So you don't want to answer a question for me?
No, sir.
You don't want to talk to me?
No, sir.
Well, I'll ask you anyway. Do you believe you have an oath to the United States Constitution, Officer Sanchez, to uphold and defend it? Would you violate that Constitution to go door to door and confiscate firearms from law-abiding citizens? Do you believe you have an oath to the Constitution to uphold and defend it, Officer Williams? You don't believe you have an oath to that Constitution, sir? Well, there you go.
When he cleared his call, he did a 180 and marched over to me. He brought his face to my face to answer my questions like a public servant, not a public master.
Can I get your name and badge number again, please?
Cobb.
Do you believe as a law enforcement officer you have an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution?
I'm not going to make any comments.
No comments about that either?
Thank you.
Are you going to roll up the window and run away from me, sir?
No.
And he declared his oath to the people in the Constitution. As always, you can decide whether you believe him. I'm just pointing out a few facts. Moving on.
Oh, excuse me. Shut up!
You wanted to talk to me?
I did, sir. Can I get your name and badge number?
Steve Madden, Unit 19.
Nice to meet you, Mr.
Nice to
Madden,
meet you.
or Officer Madden. And I wanted to ask you a question, a couple questions, real quick.
Okay.
You believe as a law enforcement officer you have an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution?
I do.
You do? And let me ask you another question, final one. Would you comply with an unconstitutional order to confiscate firearms from law-abiding citizens?
No.
No, you would not?
Nope.
I appreciate it, and that's all I got for you. You have a nice day.
No problem. Take care.
Too.
Let's talk about fatism, a topic that hits me right in the old enlarged heart. I'm about 470 pounds of overindulged jelly-filled donut blubber. Whatever you want to believe. I tried to lift weights once and woke up in a hospital bed from a fat-induced coma. Anyway, in my Cop Watch 111 video, where Officer Go Get Run Over at a Traffic Stop Tyrant Taylor made his debut appearance, I noticed all the virtue signalers and fake outrage folks coming out of the woodwork like termites, commenting to allegedly defend gay people, whom you obviously see as less intelligent, less capable of having a sense of humor, and less capable of defending themselves. I also noticed you didn't make one comment about my fat joke. I believe in my Cop Watch 111 video I said something about, quote, man boobs and fat gut came waddling up to the window, end quote.
Afternoon.
Afternoon. I'm here to retaliate to satisfy my need for authority because I'm an insecure, internally deficient, tyrant piece of shit. It was a good afternoon until your man boobs and fat gut you try to hide under your vest waddled up to the window. What? No fake outrage or virtue signaling or attack on free speech there also. You know what you are? You're frickin' fattists. That's right, you're prejudiced against fat people. Oh, you're all over the jokes you refer to as gay jokes, but to hell with the fat people, right, you fattest bastards. I'm also fake offended and fake outraged by your lack of fake outrage and virtue signaling about every comment in my video that could possibly be considered offensive to fat people or anybody else.
How dare you!
Fatism is a systemic problem in this country, and I'll not stand for your fattest ideas on my channel, you fat phobic pricks. Just a second.
How dare you!
Now on to free speech. You know, anytime you give total authority to an agency or government that already wants that authority, they prove time and time again, to control you, you give up your own protections, and eventually you and your descendants will be subject to the same authority. It is a typical tactic to gain control by claiming there is a problem that requires less freedoms and more control. Then to step in to fix that problem, they tell you they have to take more of your freedoms. But also they give you a hug and pat your feelings on the back. Please show me how often government has ever said, and then acted upon the idea that less government was the answer instead of more government control. I won't hold my breath. Next, if you take away a right and a protection from someone else, you take it away from yourself also. When another faction takes control, a faction who disagrees with your side's ideas and your side's words, do you think they won't suddenly use the same violation of free speech against you because they dislike your opinions? If you do, you're a brain-dead idiot. Shut the hell up. You're fighting against your own best self-interests. Free speech doesn't mean you have to agree nor even like what someone says, nor the words they use to say it. It also doesn't mean you can't find it offensive. What it means is that it is protected. You can then use your free speech to express what you think about it, or your freedom of movement to walk away. But what you can't really do is dictate what they say or how they say it. Otherwise, you yourself will be subject to the same in the future, and I guarantee you will not be so supportive of your ignorance on free speech then. But it will be too late, because government loves taking freedoms, but almost never gives them back without a very large fight. And you idiots can see this for yourself if you'd stop drinking the Kool-Aid and research for yourselves. Throughout history, churches wanted to label people as heretics for refusing to believe in their ideas. Governments wanted to control people and oppress ideas against them that might take away their power to control the people in any way they choose. Here's a pro tip. He who controls the information and the intel controls the people, or sheeple. Newsflash, we have idiots even today cheering on the government to restrict their own rights and the rights of their future generations. Fucking brainwashed, sheep-tarred bootlickers. Free speech wasn't freely obtained, believe it or not. It was fought for. You idiots surrendering it are ensuring you will be subject to the same penalties later for using it. Just something to consider if the sheep can remove their heads from their woolen asses long enough to contemplate it. Oh, and wham! More narration, wham!
I'm not good with kids!
Now we're all done here. Moving out.
You believe as a law enforcement officer you have an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution?
I do.
You do?